Narcissists groom their victims. Did you ever feel like you're getting trained by a narcissist? Now, when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about the aspect of like getting put down, getting put in a certain box, getting taught how to actually live or how to do stuff according to what they want or according to how they want you to be to them, so they get what they want. Narcissists are masters at manipulating you in multiple ways, in multiple aspects. Narcissists groom their victims. You might not realize it, you might not see it, you might not understand it. But a narcissist oftentimes will look at another person and think, that's what I want. And think, that's what I'm going to get. And start to put a mark on you, start to put a venture, a conquest, a goal. And they'll go after you. And oftentimes you get into a relationship with a narcissist, with a toxic person, and you think, this is the one. Like, it feels amazing. It seems like we're the best thing ever. And what you don't realize a lot of times is that's all done on purpose. It's all manipulated. It's all one step at a time that brings you closer to the thought and the addiction that this person is the sole person for you. Was reading the other day a book. It's the book of the month for the month of April. Book of the month is Psychopath Free. And the tagline on it is recovering from emotionally abusive relationships with narcissists, sociopaths, and other toxic people. And it starts off, and in the second chapter, it talks about the manufactured soulmate. And the chapter name is Personalized Grooming. And a lot of people don't realize that there is a big aspect that narcissists, psychopaths, toxic people will take the time to be able to groom their victims. Will take the time to be able to bring them along on a certain path to get to the place where they realize and they think that that toxic person is the only validation, is the only person, is their soulmate, is whatever, and that they have to be with that person. So let's talk about grooming. Narcissists grooms their victims. The book here has 6 different things that I want to talk to you about. Number 1, we have so much in common. Is that something that popped up in your relationship? We have so much in common. Listen to this real quick. I'll quote. We see the world the same way. We have the same sense of humor. We're both so empathetic, constantly helping out friends and family members. We're perfect for each other. The psychopath repeatedly drills these points home, oftentimes even going too far to say, so we're practically the same person. During the grooming phase, psychopaths observe and mimic. They steal qualities from their victims and almost seem to become a better version of their target's personality, co-opting all of the cheerful positives without any of the burdensome emotions that come along with them. But this is all an act. Later on this section it says, the psychopath will spend most of the idealization phase listening to you and excitingly responding that he or she feels the same way as you do. You will eventually come to think that they're the only person you've ever met who's so similar to you. And you're right, because it's flat out impossible and creepy for 2 people to be identical in every single way. You see, normal people have differences. It's what makes life interesting. But psychopaths can skip this complication because they don't have an identity. They do not have a sense of self. They don't have life experiences that help shape their needs, insecurities, and fantasies. And instead, they steal yours. Like chameleons, they will mimic every part of your personality to become your perfect match. Did you have that in your life? Did you have someone that's like, we're perfect together. Like, we seem so similar. Like, you like the same things. You like the same bands, the music, the shows, like what you do, where you eat, all this type of stuff. A lot of times, this is brought up as a connection point. This is brought up as a way to groom another person. It's brought up to be able to bind another person together and them not even realize it. It's like getting into a narcissistic relationship at the very beginning. We're talking like the love bombing phase where they're starting to entrap you with how they're communicating, how they're acting. You'll start to see the narcissist that wants to know sometimes everything about you. They're curious, like, where'd you go to school? Like, what did you do? What music do you like? What taste do you have? Like, all these different types of things. And in the moment, it seems really awesome. In the moment, it's like, wow, like, they're just like this. But then what you start realizing is as they continue to communicate and get involved in the relationship, there's less about what they say until you've already expressed your opinions, your thoughts. And then all of a sudden it seems like everything becomes kind of aligned. Like, I've never met someone like this. I've never met a match this good. Like the book says, it's impossible because you don't find people that are matched up that exact. But a psychopath will mirror that. Will come alongside and will mirror the same attributes. A lot of times people like the idea of seeing themselves reflected. So you have someone that comes up to you and is like, wow, like, this is how I am too. You're like, oh my gosh, like, that's amazing. Like, one, it's cool because you found someone who has the same taste or same interest. But then two, it's also like a reflection of you, and you're like, wow, like, that's really cool. Like, this person likes the same thing as I do. Like, maybe I'm not as weird. Like, maybe I'm kind of cool. Different aspects like that. But a psychopath, a narcissist, a toxic person will actually take the time to be able to groom you in the idea that you guys are very, very similar. Take music for an example. Narcissists will be very interested in maybe what you listen to. And as a result, they'll start listening to the same stuff. They might listen to stuff that that they've never listened to before. But they're going to start identifying and connecting with music that relates to you. Sometimes this happens through shared playlists. Sometimes this happens through different access or being on the same account with Spotify or Apple Music or whatever it might be. And they start seeing repetition and they start seeing patterns. They start hearing and grooming and getting all this information so they can use it to make this connection. Like, you love that band? I love that band. Like, I listen to them all the time. Have you listened to? And they'll start dropping things. They'll start naming things that's never been a part of them. Sometimes you see it when they interact with friends. You might catch like tiny glimpses of like their friends being like, that's weird. Like, but as you continue that relationship, they give you the impression, they give you the idea that you guys are very similar, very much the same. Does that happen to you? If it has, like, leave a comment below because I'm interested to know how many people that's happened, because this happens a lot with people that have dealt with narcissists, psychopaths, toxic people, is that idea of like mirroring in one sense, of having so much in common. All right, the second thing in the book is we have the same hopes and dreams. I'm going to quote here. The psychopath will consume your present life, but they will also take over your future. In order to raise the stakes in the relationship, they will make many long-term promises. This ensures that you're highly invested in the relationship. After all, who wants to stick around for a romance that has no future? The psychopath takes this a step further, quickly discussing major life events like marriage and moving in together. These are decisions that typically take years to arrive to in healthy relationships. But you don't need all that time. You already know you'll be spending the rest of your life with them. If you've always dreamed of a family and kids, they will fit that role perfectly. If you want to start a business, they'll be your right-hand man or woman. If you're in an unhappy marriage, they will have a plan ready to replace your spouse. What you might not notice until later is that these plans always seem to involve some sort of sacrifice on your end and never theirs. Now, when you hear that, there's a lot of things narcissistic in there along the lines of like future faking. Future faking and also just like filling those roles, those thoughts, those desires. This is why when you're getting involved in a relationship, it's not a good idea to lay everything out there. It's not a good idea to say, hey, this is all of me. Because if you're with someone who's toxic or if you're with someone who ends up being an abuser, they're going to take every single aspect and they're going to use it against you. Sometimes people will sit down and be like, tell me your ideal person. Like, what is your ideal man? What is your ideal woman? Like, what are you looking for in a guy? What are you looking for in a girl? Might be a red flag. Because as you tell, oh, this is what I envision, this is what I want, they're like, yeah, me too. That's awesome. I've always wanted, you wanted 4 kids? Like, I actually wanted 4 kids as well. Like, that's perfect. Like, I didn't realize like we were so similar. Like, goes back to the first one. And then they start getting to the place of future faking and trying to tie people into long-term things. And it's the idea of grooming that far aspect, the future faking. I want to have a family with you. I want to grow old with you. I want to have a house here. I want to go visit here. I want to go on this vacation with you. I want to go like all this different stuff that's like future down the road with no intention of getting to it. But the only intention of grooming this person, of thinking that you're the best match, that you're going to be the best partner, that it's going to work out and it's going to be the best thing ever. And a lot of times people ignore the red flags popping up of like, hey, we're talking about marriage in the first 5 dates. Like, there hasn't been a chance to actually get to know a person because we have so much in common and all our hopes and dreams are the same. So like, why wouldn't we go for this? If you're running into those two things, you might need to take a pause back. You might need to take a moment and be like, wait a second, like, is this actually real? Like, what's actually going on here? Because a narcissist, a psychopath, a toxic person will take the time to learn about you. At the beginning of the relationship, they're going to be fantastic listeners because they're grooming and learning to control you. They're learning the different things that you want, that you desire, so they can fit that mold for a period of time to entrap you and to keep you as a long-term supply. If you're seeing different things like that, so the two things that we talked about, we have the same dreams and hopes, and we have so much in common. Are those happening in your life? You might want to take a good look. You might want to take an idea. If you're not sure if you're dealing with a narcissist or a toxic person, you want closure, or you're in that abusive relationship and you want to talk about it, click on the link down below. We'd love to schedule time to be able to talk with you. If you don't already follow, subscribe on here. Follow on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Small Nuggets of Truth getting dropped every single day. Check out the podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Got a couple different things coming out there as well. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Hey guys, Ben Taylor with Raw Motivations here. Just wanted to come back for an episode, I guess part 2 really. Haven't done a part 2 before. Part 2 on narcissists, psychopaths, toxic people, and grooming their victims. A lot of people don't want to admit that it's actually happening, because admitting that it's actually happening means that they have to break down those good moments. It means they have to break down the thoughts and the feelings that they experience with the narcissist, with the psychopath, with the toxic person, that they're like, but it felt so real. It felt so perfect. And that's one of the hard realities that people have to face a lot of times, is it felt that way on purpose. And you're not a stupid person. You're not a bad person for thinking that. It was manufactured that way. It was set up that way. The book I've been reading for the book of the month is called Psychopath Free. Okay? There you go. Psychopath Free. Recovering from emotionally abusive relationships with narcissists, sociopaths, and toxic people. I've heard it's a good book. I haven't got all the way through it. Literally got to chapter 2, had to stop, had to record some because it's so powerful, it's so impactful, and it's so convicting. Because I'm like reading through it and I'm like, wait a second, like I've done this. Like I've interacted with people in this way. So anyways, I'm going to talk about grooming. Okay? So we've already talked about the first 2 things. If you haven't seen it yet, I've already done one video about this, about the narcissists grooming their victims. And in that video, we touched on 2 things. And one of them was we have so much in common. So how the narcissist like interacts and becomes identical match to you sometimes. And then the second one was we have the same hopes and dreams, was the concept of like future faking and aligning themselves with what you want in the future when it's just fake. It's not what they want. It's not what they actually desire, but it's just them putting on a facade to be able to lock you in. So today we're going to look at another one about narcissistic grooming. So the chapter that we're looking at is the manufactured soulmate, of that feeling, that closeness that's not real, it's just manufactured. And what we're looking at on this chapter is personalized grooming. All right, so the third one that we have here is the idea of we share the same insecurities. So I'm going to quote from the book and then we'll talk about it, okay? The psychopath will never actually mention your vulnerabilities, but they can sniff them out in a second. They will mirror your insecurities to drive up your empathy, so that you attempt to heal their problems with the same care you might hope to receive yourself. An empathetic person, you're more naturally drawn to offer comfort to people who are hurting or vulnerable. This inclination to comfort increases when you also recognize someone else's insecurities as your own. You see someone feeling inferior, and you believe you know how to make them feel better. The psychopath seems to genuinely adore all your efforts. They compare you to their exes, idealizing you above everyone else. They praise your caring nature, which makes you want to do more for them. You feel that all of your efforts are appreciated, and you want to do even more to prove how much you care. You see their insecurities and perceive them as genuine, open, vulnerable, and sympathetic, someone you want to help. Psychopaths see insecurities in a very different way, as a tool for manipulation and control. This is very accurate. It's very true. is a narcissist, psychopath, toxic person sees those vulnerabilities that you have, sees those insecurities as a way in, as a chink in your armor, as a way to be able to infiltrate your mind, your thoughts, your perception. It ends up being a way that they can step inside what's actually going on and control you, identify you, be able to figure out what makes you tick, what makes you happy, what makes you sad, and then know which levers they can press, which levers they can pull to get to the point that they manipulate your feelings, your emotions. So when you're getting with someone that might be narcissistic or abusive or psychopath, and you start seeing the same things mirrored back at you, it could be a red flag. But also when you start seeing the same insecurities. So it talks about insecurities and it talks about vulnerabilities. Sometimes you'll see in a narcissistic relationship where they bring up past trauma, past insecurities that match your own or that are very similar. Oftentimes when they bring up past trauma or they bring up these big emotional or really hard events, it's not to just connect with you, it's to have you create sympathy. And when you create sympathy for them, like the book says, you get to the place of where you want to help them, where you want to fix them. There's sometimes that people go into narcissistic relationships, toxic relationships, and they go into a Build-A-Man or a Build-A-Woman. And they're literally going in being like, I know this person has hurt, I know this person struggles, but I'm going to go in and I'm going to fix them. When you go in with an attitude of being able to fix someone, especially when you're dealing with a narcissist or a toxic person, they're like, great. Someone I can manipulate and control to be the best supply ever because they're going to keep trying to work to fix me. I don't need fixing. I don't need therapy. I don't need all this kind of stuff. This is what the narcissist is thinking. Like, I don't need this. But it's going to be awesome because this person is going to spend all their time working to try to fix me, which is just giving me supply, validation. It's just giving me someone that's going to come up and adore and try to help and try to love and try to excuse away all my bad characteristics and love the rest out of me. A lot of times the narcissist will take your insecurities, mirror them as their own to create sympathy from you. All right, so that was the third one. Let's look at number 4. All right, number 4 says, you are beautiful. And I quote, the psychopath is obsessed with the way you look. You'll never meet another human who comments so frequently on your clothes, your hair, your skin, your pictures, or whatever other superficial quality they choose to focus on that day. At first, these words feel like compliments. They can't believe how beautiful you are. They don't even feel worthy of being your partner. They say they walk around the park and can't find a person more attractive than you. How that is a compliment, I'm not quite sure. Going along with the idea of insecurities, you begin to return all of this flattery. You want to make sure that they feel adequate, that they understand how attractive you think they are. And that's what they're aiming for. By showering you with compliments, they know that they can expect the adoration to rebound shortly. Suddenly, they become very comfortable with sharing photos of themselves with you. Your relationship becomes an unending exchange of praise and approval. You begin to place your self-esteem in their words because they are so reliably positive. You can actually feel yourself glowing. Your body goes through changes as your confidence rises with their every word. You spend more and more time improving your appearance to keep them impressed. Now, I'm not saying that if you're with someone and they're calling you beautiful that that's a bad thing. And I'm not saying that's a red flag. But the idea here is the aspect of like love bombing and like the narcissistic phrase. And that's the idea of going on and praising and giving a lot of love and validation to try to pump someone up for the sole purpose and the sole reason to be able to manipulate them. Remember, we're talking about grooming, and we're talking about the idea that they're going to focus on everything. Sometimes they'll focus so much on the external, on how you look, on your body, on how you wear your hair, how you dress, all this different type of stuff. They'll focus on the external because it's easier to take that external stuff and start to put slight things under that. Like you're gonna wear that today? Like you think that looks good on you? Like, is that really what you want to wear? Or they'll start complimenting other people. Like, oh, that person looks like really awesome. Like, wow, like look at the muscles on that person. Like, wow, she's pretty. Like all these different types of things, they like set you up and then slowly tear you down. And as they go through the love bombing phase, they pump you up. They make you feel like you're the most wonderful, beautiful person in the world, and then they can slowly start taking that away through those snide comments, through affection and attention to other people. And what that does is it creates this idea that you have to continue to impress. You have to continue to run back to this person. See, what a narcissist does is they take you and they get involved with you and they take you and they put you on this pedestal. And this pedestal is here and they call you beautiful and wonderful and love you and all this type of stuff. And they build this pedestal and they keep building it and they keep building it and they keep building it. And now you're up here on this pedestal. And you think it's awesome and you think it's great. And then they walk in one day and they just take the pedestal away. They knock you off of it. Now you're down here and the pedestal's up here. And the goal for the rest of the relationship is for you to get back up on that pedestal. And no matter what you do, no matter what you try, you won't get back to the same place that you were to start off with. Why? Because that was manufactured. It was fake. It was something that they built to be able to control you, to be able to manipulate you. And this doesn't mean that you're not pretty, that you're not beautiful, that you're not handsome, anything like that. It doesn't mean that. What it means is that person invested that much time and effort to go above and beyond to try to convince you of something and to rely on them. The book says here, what is it? So they become very comfortable sharing and becomes an unending exchange of praise and approval. You get to the place of self-esteem because they're so reliably positive. Like, that is really one of the keys here, is the idea of being reliably positive. You start off and you're like, wow, like the first year was so great. Like, he was so kind. He was so loving. Like, she did everything for me. Like, she was really kind. She was really loving. Like, she took care of me. Like, he took care of me. Like, all this type of stuff. You're like we really connected. Like, all this stuff adds up. And you're like, the first year, wow, it was so much like this. It's what they wanted. They built that reliability, that consistency of things that they said, of things that they did that made you feel a certain way. So when they pulled that away, you wouldn't think anything of it. So when they pulled that away, you wouldn't think it's them changing. You'd think it's you changing. And then you're like, wait a second, like, how do I get back on that pedestal? Like, how do I fix this? How do I get that love back? How do I get that praise? How do I get that compliment back? In reality, that compliment was never there. In reality, all it was someone playing towards insecurities, someone playing towards your emotions, someone playing towards your love, your desire, in an effort to be able to groom and manipulate you long term. So as we look at those two things, if we look at those two things, you're beautiful and we share the same insecurities. Those two a lot of times go hand in hand. Those are another two ways of how narcissists, psychopaths, toxic people work to groom you and work to set you up where you're going to come back to them, become addicted to them, and view them as the only person that you can get validation, love, and appreciation for. And I'm here to tell you that's not true. And there's hope outside that relationship of finding someone who does care, who does value, and it is possible. If you're in one of these relationships and you want to talk about it, feel free to reach out to me. So I do one-on-ones. We talk through the trauma bond, getting detoxing from the narcissist, stopping being addicted to the narcissist, and then clarity of your vision, values of how you're going to grow, how you're going to change so that you don't go back to that person. So you look back and you say, the person I was when I was with this person is completely different because I've grown so much. If that's something you're interested in, click on the link down below. We'd love to be able to talk to you. If you don't subscribe by now, hit that subscribe button. Also, follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We're dropping like nuggets of truth every single day to try to be able to help you in your process, in your journey, to build awareness about narcissism and help you heal, grow, and change. If you guys haven't checked out by now, there's the NARC app. So go on to Apple or Google Play and you can download the NARC app, NARC, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community. There's people on there that are working on learning about narcissism and interacting with like-minded people who are survivors, who are people that are in these relationships trying to get out, trying to get encouragement, and trying to find growth and change every single day. Anyways, thank you guys so much. Talk later. Hey guys, Ben Taylor with Raw Motivations. Wanted to come on here and talk to you today. Part 3. Again, never done a part 3 before. So part 1, part 2, part 3 of narcissists groom their victims. Because a lot of times people don't want to admit that. They don't want to get to the idea of saying like, hey, like I actually was groomed. Like that's a disgusting feeling. That's a feeling that people don't want to admit. People don't want to admit that it's happened to them, that it's been fabricated. And what we're looking at today is we're looking at this book, Psychopath Free. It's my book of the month for the month of April. So I'm going through Psychopath Free. And we're in the section that's called The Manufactured Soul. So perhaps the most insidious of all the psychopath's evils, their relationship cycle, during which they gleefully and systematically wipe out the identity of an unsuspecting victim, cold and calculated emotional rape. That's a little tagline on it. All right, so manufactured soul. So in this chapter, what is called is personalized grooming. So if you haven't had a chance, watch the other two videos that we've got on this, where we talk about a couple of the characteristics. The first one was we have so much in common. So how a narcissist, toxic person, psychopath connects with people. Like, we have so much in common. Like, our taste is so similar. The second one is we have the same hopes, dreams, and desires. So the idea of like future faking of like, oh, I want that too. Like, house with a white picket fence, 4 kids and 2 dogs. Like, that kind of a thing. Then we have number 3, share the same insecurities. So the things that you're insecure about, they'll become or appear to be insecure about early on. That way you can start working to build a man, to build a woman, and fix that other person. Then the aspect of you are beautiful. And so this touches on the aspect of love bombing and getting involved with someone where you're relying on their consistent praise because it happens so much. It's so reliable that you rely on that. So when they pull back, you're like, wait a second, like, what happened? And you try to go back for more. And you try to figure out like what's wrong. You try to fix yourself. So anyways, that was the first 4 that was touched on in the first 2 videos about narcissists grooming their victims. So what we want to talk about today is the last 2. Okay, narcissists groom their victims. So the phrase we're going to talk about today is, I've never felt this way in my life. Did you ever hear that from your narcissist, from a toxic person? Let's read about it here. And I quote, "This is where the comparison begins. They hold you in high regard, far above all their other relationships. They explain in detail every one of the reasons you are better than their exes. They can't remember the last time that they've been this happy. You will constantly hear sweeping declarations like, I can't believe how lucky I am. Statements like these play on your intimate desire to make others happy. They convince you that you're providing them with a special sort of joy, something that they cannot find in anyone else. This becomes a point of pride for you, knowing that you are the one they want despite all their other admirers. The psychopath will refer to you as perfect and flawless, which becomes an overwhelming sense of cognitive dissonance when their words inevitably change to crazy and jealous. As you work through these memories, remember that their compliments were always shallow and calculated. They use these tactics with everyone. For each target, the idealization phase will be different. However, one thing remains true throughout each relationship. They really have never felt this way in their life. Psychopaths do not actually feel the love and the happiness that they so frequently proclaim. They oscillate between contempt, envy, and boredom. Nothing more. End quote. So like the idea there, they put like never felt this way, they put that in quotes, and I just realized that as I was reading it, because it's like the idea of like they never felt that way because they actually never felt that way. It's actually a really good way to put it. Oftentimes you'll have this where they put those comparisons. So some of the ideas of like love bombing, but like the ideas of like how amazing you are. I've never felt this way before. Like, you are literally one of the perfect people. Like, I can't believe you. Like, compared to everybody else, like, you are an angel compared to all my other exes. Compared to everybody else, like, I can't believe I'm so lucky to be with you because, gosh, let me tell you, all those people before, and you start to see the narcissist put this into motion and put this into play. And what happens is the things that they compliment, the things that they love, the things that they respect or love about you end up being the things that they hate. You notice the book has said, as they refer to you as perfect and flawless, the words will never change to crazy and jealous. There's be like the idea, like in the relationship of, I can't believe how much you care about people. You care too much about people. Like, I can't believe, like, there's always this dissonance going back and forth. There's always this change. Like, I love how you always want to be with me. Can you give me some space? Like, you really need to stop being so clingy. Like, I love that you have so many friends. Like, you've got way too many friends, and like, I don't really think they're the best influence on you. The things that the narcissist, psychopath, toxic person compliments early on often ends up being the things that they end up despising at the end of the relationship or when the mask starts to slip. It's something to be careful about. The idea of like, I've never felt this way in my life ends up ringing so true because they haven't felt that way in their life. All it is manufactured. It's manufacturing the idea, the connection that they're going to be this way with you, that they're enjoying something they've never experienced before in all their relationships, in all their life. And they're like, wow, like you really are the best person ever. In reality, they're just building you up again. That way they can take you back down. They're just telling you things. That way later on they can say, no, that's not true. They end up hating the things that they compliment. All right, so that was number 5. I've never felt this way in my life. Last one here. Number 6. We are soulmates. Did they ever tell you that? I feel like there's like a trend a lot of time. Soulmates, twin flames, something that's like, this is way deeper than just love, than just a connection. Like we actually are tied together through the cosmos of time, and we're never going to be apart, and no matter if we ever leave each other or lose contact, we'll always find each other. Something like that. Let's read here about it. So we are soulmates, and I quote, "Psychopaths love the idea of soulmates. It implies something different from love. It implies that there are higher powers at work, that you are meant to be together. It means that they consume your entire being, mind, and body. It creates a psychic bond that lasts long after the relationship is ended. Perhaps there's a small part in all of us that longs for a soulmate, the perfect person to complete our lives, someone with whom we can share everything, a lover and a best friend. And there is nothing wrong with this. I cannot stress the point enough. Psychopaths will manipulate your dreams and fantasies, but that does not invalidate your dreams and fantasies and make them weaknesses. After being discarded by a psychopath, many survivors denounce everything about their past life, raising a permanent guard to protect themselves from more abuse. Please don't do this. If you believe in soulmates, you will find a real one. You will meet a man or a woman who is full of gentle compassion and kindness. You will never question your heart because of them. Your love will blossom on its own without all of the manufactured intensity. And the psychopath was not your soulmate, and they never will be. To be your soulmate, they would, of course, need to have a soul. After reading the above list, you may feel angry with yourself for falling for this duplicity. How could I be so stupid, you might ask? But please don't beat yourself up. You weren't targeted because you were stupid. On the contrary, you were chosen because of the many good qualities you possess. A psychopath's perfect target is idealistic, forgiving, generous, and romantic. Most targets are very selective about their partners, often feeling lonely and frustrated by the dating scene. So when the psychopath comes along to mirror all of your greatest fantasies, you pour your entire heart and soul into the relationship. You'll invest everything you can, emotionally, financially, and physically. You quickly feel comfortable opening up because the psychopath grooms you to believe that you've found the one. This forms an immediate bond of trust and familiarity. However, when the psychopath begins the devaluing process, you'll attempt to absorb all the blame of the relationship in order to restore the perfect memory you had of the person who once claimed to be your soulmate. This is why psychotherapy awareness is so important. Without the missing puzzle piece, it is only logical to assume that this soulmate existed at some point and might return again with enough love and enough care. But once we understand psychopathy, we come to realize that this person never existed at all. It was a mere image, a carbon copy, of everything we wanted in a partner. When psychopaths lose this element of surprise, their pool of victims diminishes significantly. So that idea, the last one here, of the idea of soulmates. Was that ever something that was communicated to you? Soulmates, soul ties, like forever, that concept? Because they want to be able to establish that. They want to be able to establish that, hey, there's something deeper here than love. There's something that's driving us. There's something that's bringing us together forever. And they make you feel like they have the one. And then how I was talking about there, they make you feel like they have the one. So when they pull away, when they start devaluing you, then logically, like, hey, that's the one. Like, they didn't change. Like, it must be me. And then we get into that gaslighting. We get into the thought process of like, you're the crazy one. You're the one that's not doing this. Like, you're the problem in the relationship. Like, what's going on? Like, this is all you. And they'll do that. Because obviously you guys were fine before. Like, and nothing on the narcissist side changed, obviously. In reality, it wasn't ever there. It was just a facade. It was just a mask. It was just something that was put up to try to be able to trap you longer and try to be able to keep you coming back to someone who's actively abusing you. If you guys don't by now, follow. We've got TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, dropping nuggets of truth every single day on the platform to bring awareness, growth, healing, and change. I do that every day by talking with people who are in narcissistic abusive relationships. I do that with one-on-ones. You can click down below to grab that, and we can talk and try to work through the trauma bond, trying to work through limbo land, like detoxing from the narcissist, and trying to get to a place of clarity and growth, and what's it look like for your future so you can connect with healthy people and not have that narcissist come back in your life, and how you're going to react if that ever happens. That's my goal on this platform. Please check out the podcast. So we're on Apple Podcasts, also on Spotify. Got some interesting episodes coming out just with narcissist and empath, where I'm talking with a friend of mine who's been in a narcissistic abusive relationship and physically abusive relationship, and she's the empath. I'm the narcissist. We've been friends for years and trying to show like some of the differences and also just kind of share our stories as well. So check that out. If you're interested in being involved with a community of like-minded people, like join the NARC app. NARC, look it up on Apple or on Google Play. It's Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community, NARC. Look that up, and there's a lot of people on there that are in their process of healing, growth, that are learning. There's different lessons that are coming out on a monthly basis, different interactions, different tools on there that you can be able to utilize to get healing, growth, and change in your life. Hope to check it out. Hope to see you there.
Hey, just want to jump in here really quick and say you might have been watching my content for a period of time, but you haven't taken the next step. You haven't taken the next moment, the next idea, the next thought to actually change your life. And I want to provide you with a couple different options. One of the ways is to be able to work with me personally inside the Thriver Intensive. What I do inside of there is help you break the trauma bond, eradicate the triggers, and move forward in the healing process. You got 24/7 access to me. You've got access to other women who are going through it, access to other coaches, but a support system that you need to finally break free once and for all, and to make sure that you don't go back, that you don't interact with them again, and that you finally find peace. If you're interested in knowing a little bit more about this, then click on the link down below, but it'll be rawmotivation.com/breakthrough. You'll be able to hear a little bit from me, you'll be able to hear a little bit from my wife, and be able to hear a little bit more about what I do to help you move forward. If that resonates with you, click on the link below, rawmotivation.com/breakthrough.
Did you ever feel like you're getting trained by a narcissist? Now, when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about the aspect of like getting put down, getting put in a certain box, getting taught how to actually live or how to do stuff according to what they want or according to how they want you to be to them, so they get what they want. Today we're going to dive into that and talk about it. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to provide awareness, growth, healing, change, and development. I'm the founder of Raw Motivations, the creator of the NARC app, and your guide in the 45-Day Clarity Challenge, the Escape Toxicity Challenge, several different things that we're putting together to help you get free from that abuse, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally. So check out some of those resources. Click on the link in the bio. Go to rawmotivations.com. We'd love to be able to work with you, either one-on-one or have you join in some of our communities that are helping people move forward and to thrive. If you like what you see here, we're talking about narcissism, narcissistic abuse, my journey in narcissism, hit subscribe, hit that notification so you get notified when we drop new content and when we're live on the platform doing question and answer time. Well, today I want to be able to dive in and talk to you about this aspect about how narcissists a lot of times will belittle you, how they'll put you down, how they'll get to a place where they establish a dynamic that is a teaching dynamic, that is a place of like, you have to be submissive to what I want you to do. And oftentimes this is how a narcissist comes into the picture to train you to do what they want, to train you to be compliant to the things that they want. So today we're going to talk about this aspect of how they train you and what to notice about that and how to break free from that as well. Okay, so diving in, we talk about narcissistic abuse. We talk about narcissists a lot on this channel. Narcissists at the baseline, at the core, are at this level of being wanting to control. Typically, the aspect is wanting to control you in order to control the mask that they're putting out there, to be able to control the image that they're portraying to other people. And so a lot of times, the easiest way is to be able to train you to be able to do what they want, to train you to fall in line. So this aspect of like training you to be submissive goes even farther into teaching you to give in to their desires. Oftentimes, you're taught by guilt tripping, by making you feel bad for saying no to something that you should say no to, or that you don't want to do, but then they do it anyways, but they get you to do it anyways. This could be guilt tripping, sometimes it could be coercion, sometimes it could be gaslighting. There's multiple different ways that a narcissist will try to manipulate you and get you to the place where you're going to do what they want, regardless if it's something that you want or not. So in doing this, a lot of times you'll see emotional manipulation come to play, where a narcissist is going to figure out how to manipulate your thoughts, your emotions, all these things to get you to a place of submitting to what they want you to do. Sometimes you get trained by different consequences. Maybe they give you the silent treatment. Maybe it's something that you mess up and they no longer speak to you for a day, for a week, for 2 weeks, until you come back. Until you come back to the place where you're asking and begging them, what did I do wrong? And that's when the narcissist knows that they have you. Because when they do something to you and they go silent on you and you have to come back begging and apologizing, they know that they've trained you under their control. They've trained you to be submissive about the shit that they're actually giving you, and they don't care. All they care about is now they've got you under their control. And you need to understand that, because it's important to know that you get trained by the consequences, by them belittling you, by putting you down. And it leaves you in the fog. It walks you into the middle of the field of the fear, of the obligation, of the guilt, of the fog that surrounds you while you're in a narcissistic relationship and you're not sure what to do. And you start to believe the lie that is given to you over and over and over again, that you're responsible for them. That you're responsible for their feelings. That you're responsible for their decisions. That you're responsible for their actions. Some of you might be thinking you're responsible for their cheating. You might think they're responsible for them lying. You're not. But it's a lie that's been impressed upon you from the narcissist. It's been a lie that's been impressed upon you from your upbringing, from your childhood, from your education, from previous partners, all different things. A lie, a story that you're telling yourself that's not based on facts. Because the narcissist is in control of their interactions. They're in control of what they do. But they typically want you to be responsible for the actions that they do. And they increase those demands over and over and over, getting you to the place and training you to the place of being under control. A lot of times narcissists will enjoy that submission, of looking for someone who is going to submit underneath them to help prop up and to be able to push up their ego. Someone loves me. Someone pays attention to me. Someone admires me. No, they're actually afraid of you. And they can't get free. But the narcissist will switch that in the mind and be like, oh, look, I'm valued. And it's the exact opposite of how they're actually treating the person. They're oftentimes looking for people to be servants of their own needs, because their own needs are the most important thing. The ego, the power, all those things are most important. Interactions with my wife was all about what I wanted. And if I didn't get what I want, then I'd either go out and get it someplace else, or I would train her and work on the aspect of like, hey, you're not getting me what I want. So therefore, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to give you this. I'm not going to whatever it might be. There was always this like pullback of like, fine, like I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to open up. I'm not going to engage. I'm not going to develop anything. I'm not going to work on our relationship because you didn't give me what I wanted. Sometimes this aspect turns into a teaching role. And emotional manipulation, where the narcissist is actually trying to teach you and get you to a place of saying like, oh, you need to fall under this control. And looking through, if you haven't had a chance to be able to see before, Psychopath Free, fantastic book to be able to help you in your journey. There is an aspect here where it actually goes through and it explains this whole situation. Give you an example. The boyfriend says, my ex is coming into town. You know, the crazy abusive one who's still completely obsessed with me. The girlfriend says, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. The boyfriend, we're probably going to meet up later for drinks. She always hits on me when we drink. Wait, I'm confused. Could we talk about this maybe in person? What, you have a problem with it? Nope, no problem. I guess I was just a little confused because you said that she abused you. But, well, I hope things go well. It's nice when exes are able to be friends. The boyfriend then says, wow, you're so jealous sometimes.
The girlfriend responds, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be jealous. I was just confused at first. Boyfriend, your jealousy is ruining our relationship and creating so much unnecessary drama. The girlfriend responds, I'm sorry, we don't have to talk about it in person. I really didn't mean to come across that way. The boyfriend says, it's fine. I forgive you. We'll just have to work through our jealousy issues. Now, going into this, it says the psychopath, the narcissist here, did 3 different things. Number 1, put his girlfriend in an impossible situation that would make any human being jealous, especially after talking about how much his ex loves him. Number 2, accused her of being jealous, even though she tried to respond reasonably. And number 3, played good cop by offering to forgive her for a problem that he created in the first place. This places him in a favorite role of teacher versus student. Now, just in reading through some of that example, I'm sure that resonated with a lot of people. If it did, leave a comment down below, because I want people to understand you're not alone in the things that you've been going through. Maybe you're sitting here today and you're like, okay, like I understand that, I see that, but like what are the signs? How do I actually know that I'm actually being trained? Well, part of it is you get to this place of where it feels like you're crazy. Like it feels like I don't actually know what's going on. Like I keep getting told that I'm doing these things, but I don't see them. I don't realize them. Like I don't think I'm doing this. Like maybe I am. And you start to wonder, you start to get to the place where you're second guessing yourself on every step of the journey. Maybe you're walking around on eggshells with this person and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do that's going to set them off next. I don't know who I'm going to get when they walk in the door. I never know what to expect from this person. They can be hot or cold, good or bad. Like, I don't really know what's happening. And it almost seems like you can never actually please them, no matter what you do. You can change who you are, how you look, how you dress, how you act, how you talk, and it still doesn't seem to matter. Because there's a void there that they're trying to fill with you that's not going to get filled. Narcissists will gradually condition you to submit. Small, tiny demands with consequences. Making you prove either your love or your loyalty, withholding affection and attention to be able to get what they desire out of you. So going through the process of breaking free, how do we start that? How do we start moving forward with that? First off is you have to see it. Like you have to be able to understand this is what's actually happening to me. This isn't a normal thing. This isn't a good thing. You get to the place where you feel like you're trapped or you're stuck, where you're isolated. You need to seek help. Maybe that's getting with a friend or a family member that sees it for what it is. That sees like, wait a second, like this isn't healthy. This isn't a good relationship. This isn't something that's helping you grow, heal, change, and develop. Maybe it's going to a therapist. Maybe it's getting involved with a coach and like working through the process, like understanding the mindset and the thought process and breaking the trauma bond to get free. But you have to be able to identify it. You have to be able to see it. Then you have to bring in boundaries, healthy self-care, healthy self-love, and grounding techniques to keep you sane when you're going through these triggering moments, seeing the manipulation and not responding, not reacting to it, and starting to process and starting through your stages of healing. We've developed multiple stages of healing under the umbrella of Raw Motivations and helping people progress and move forward in their healing. With this, I'd like to call you today to join the NARC app. You can go to narcapp.com, NARCAPP, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community, narcapp.com, to be able to start that next stage of your healing. If you're watching this right now, you're in stage 1. That's awareness. Just understanding, learning about narcissism. Stage 2, which we actually have on the back of our journal here, awareness, growth, healing, change, and, well, the new one has development on it. And development is going into this aspect of getting with community. Like you need to be around other people who understand the shit that you're going through. So look at the NARC app, narcapp.com. Be able to dive in and then progress forward into escape toxicity, into the 45-day challenge, or into a high-level aspect that we're running called the Thriver Community. Either way, you need to start somewhere in your growth, in your healing. Last but not least, we got these books, okay, that you can access
at rawmotivation.com/books. So be able to check these out. But these are journals that we now have out that are to help you get clarity. So From Fantasy to Reality is the one that's been out for a little bit. And then the new one that's coming out is From Regret to Gratitude. So we're super excited about it. Check those out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a blessed and a great day. And did you ever have a narcissist say, we have so much in common? Like it felt like you were almost identical. Like you were two peas in the pod, that you had so many things, your likes, your dislikes, all seem to match up and all seem to be the same. Today, one of the things we're going to talk about is this aspect of grooming, where grooming with a narcissist is a process, is a way to be able to get you to fall in love with them, to get you stuck inside a trauma bond, to get you tied to them emotionally, mentally, physically, sexually. All these different pieces happen that actually groom you to be the person that they want you to be. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to help provide awareness about narcissistic abuse. I'm also on here to try to help people heal, grow, and change, and to develop into the person that they're called to be. A lot of times people don't understand what narcissistic abuse is and what it looks like on a consistent basis, what it looks like in society, in regular everyday life. We have people that talk to therapists, and the therapists don't understand what it looks like. They understand the textbook. But even as I've met with therapists on one-on-ones, they normally say, I've read about this, I've learned about this, I understand it, but it doesn't look like this in real life because it wasn't something that they saw or that they understood. Now, this concept of grooming, I came aware of it a couple years ago when I was going through the book Psychopath Free. And going through the book Psychopath Free, it started to talk about 6 different ways that people groom their victims. Now, I was talking about psychopaths, sociopaths, narcissists, all those things. And it's talking through this aspect of how they groom their victims to be able to connect with them, fall in love with them, etc. As I was going through, it was a mind-blowing experience because of the fact that I was seeing the very things that I had been doing for years. The difference was, in looking at it and seeing it under the title of grooming, I realized that a lot of the things that I had viewed as love and building connection was actually just grooming other people. Conditioning them to fall in line, to actually love me, to actually follow after me. And over, it started to break down my thoughts about myself, my thoughts about how I showed up, my thoughts about love and about connection. So I wanted to dive in and wanted to show you one today to be able to talk through. So if you're new here and you're not sure about this book, it's called Psychopath Free, okay, by Jackson McKenzie. The title out of it, underneath the title is Recovering from Emotionally Abusive Relationships with Narcissists, Sociopaths, and Other Toxic People. Absolutely essential book for you to be able to read, to be able to help on your healing. And one of the first chapters here, it talks about this aspect of grooming and personalized grooming, of getting someone to look and act and respond a certain way for the narcissist. Okay? The book uses psychopath and it just groups everything together. Psychopath, sociopath, narcissist, all those things, but it just uses the word sociopath, so they're not saying every single one every single time. Okay? With this one point, the one point is we have so much in common. And think of it this way. We see the world the same way. We have the same sense of humor. We're both so empathetic, constantly helping out our friends and family members. We are perfect for each other. Did it feel like there was a moment in your relationship that you guys were perfect for each other? And then now as you look back, you're like, this doesn't even look like a relationship. This doesn't even look like a friendship. This does not look like love. A lot of times we'll see a narcissist that will purposely work towards mirroring you, looking like you, becoming more like you. I would do this all the time, especially in the area of music and movies. Those are like really easy ways to be able to latch onto someone else, to be able to see, oh, this is the music they like. Hey, I like that music too. And I'd go back home and I'd listen to it. Not because I liked it, but because I knew it would connect me to another person. I'd be able to see over a period of time what mood they were in based on what music they were listening to, how to connect with them, how to be able to like, oh, I was listening to this as well. Like all these little nuances. And the second piece says, the psychopath repeatedly drills these points home, oftentimes even going as far to say as we're practically the same person. During the grooming phase, psychopaths observe and mimic. They steal qualities from their victims and almost seem to become a better version of the target's personality. co-opting all of the cheerful positives without any of the burdensome emotions that come along with them. Did you ever feel like the person that you were with started to look like you, started to act like you, and you're like, it's kind of what I want. It's kind of what I think would be cool. A lot of times it is done in a purposeful and in a manipulative way. What it says here is this is all an act. The amplified, mirrored qualities are nothing more than a facade. Psychopaths don't truly feel or understand any of the things they imitate. They are able to offer a superficial and flattering copy of the victim's personality, nothing more. None of the depth, compassion, and empathy that come along with being human. Like everything else they have to offer, their copycat personalities are hollow and empty. Maybe you've seen this in the relationship where you've wondered or you've reached out or you've looked at wondering why the toxic person in your life doesn't have a hobby, doesn't have something that they actually like to do. Nothing that actually brings them intrinsic joy or like happiness. But instead, they just shift and modify. And all of a sudden, one thing that they love doing with you, they go to the next person, they absolutely hate doing that thing. Like we see this happen all over time and time. For me, it was this aspect that I couldn't find something that actually made me excited. Unless it was connected to another person. What I was getting from another person, what I was receiving, how I was getting a reaction, whatever it was. Like I couldn't really like connect with something. Like a lot of times people have hobbies that they're like, oh, I just love playing basketball. I just love running. Like I just love doing these things. Like they bring me so much joy, whatever. I couldn't tap into that. I didn't know how to tap into that. I didn't know what that even was. Frankly, I thought it was kind of weird that people like could connect with those things. I was like, okay, like I'm doing it, but it doesn't actually bring me joy. It doesn't actually bring me pleasure. But I feel something when I connect with this person, when I interact with this person. It's all a facade. It's all a way to be able to mimic what another person has. Sometimes to try to figure out what am I missing? To try to be able to find something to fill the void, to fill the hole that I feel inside of like, why can't I actually have something that makes me happy? But I'm always going to the next person, going to the next thing, trying to find something that's going to fill that void. A lot of times when we talk about narcissists, we'll talk about the void. We'll talk about the thing that they're running away from, the guilt and the shame, the stuff that's like weighing them down, but also the stuff that they're trying to fill up. And the problem is trying to fill up from external will never work. And the book goes on to say, the psychopath will spend most of the idealization phase listening to you and excitingly responding that he or she feels the same way as you do. You're going to see this typically a lot of times in covert relationships. Covert narcissists, vulnerable narcissists, where they're spending so much time getting to know you, but you spend no time getting to know them. Not that you don't try, but they kind of keep that back. They kind of push you back of like, I'm not comfortable saying that. Or they switch the conversation background on you. You'll eventually come to think that they're the only person you'll ever meet who is so similar to you. And you're right. But it's because it's flat out impossible and creepy for two people to be identical in every way. A lot of times we don't realize this when you're in a romantic relationship with a toxic person. You're like, this is amazing. This is the best thing ever. Like, I can't believe this. Like, we're so connected. We're so in love. Like, this is like the identical person for me. Yeah, those people typically don't exist. Typically, it is a facade, a built-up mask, a built-up version of the narcissist that they want you to see in the moment to be able to connect with. You have to understand that normal people have differences. It's what makes life interesting. But psychopaths can skip this complication because they don't have an identity. They don't have a sense of self. They don't have life experiences that shape their needs, insecurities, and fantasies. Instead, they steal yours. Like a chameleon, they will mimic every part of your personality to become your perfect match. This is a piece that you're going to see a lot of times when you're dealing with a toxic person. Maybe you've already seen this in the relationship where they've stolen parts of your identity and you're left not knowing who you are. You're left not doing the things that first you fell in love with in the relationship, but he's doing those things. The hobbies that you thought were amazing, that you no longer have joy in, that now he's doing with the next person. And you see these pieces get taken from a relationship to relationship to relationship, and it feels amazing in the moment, and then you're left with nothing. This is how oftentimes a narcissist builds the mask. For each person that I would interact with, I would be the same, but I would be different. For one person, I would connect with this type of music. Another person, I connect with this type of music, and so on and so forth. Because the whole goal was, how do I establish connection as quick as possible? How do I get to the place where this person and I connect, where we're able to start having an interaction, an emotional, physical, sexual relationship? How do we work this? But I wanted to change it around in my mind to view it as love, to view it as this type of connection, to view it as this type of relationship that was good, that was healthy, that was pure, when all I was doing was lying to myself and grooming other people to be the person that I wanted them to be the ideal partner for me, to fill out the shapes and the forms and the attitudes and the behaviors of what I wanted. Are you at a place where the narcissist in your life has groomed you? Has molded you to be the version that they want you to be? Has worked on becoming the exact person as you so that they can connect with you? And you start to think, that is the only person I can connect with. Out of the billions of people on the planet, I can promise you it's not. But oftentimes that's what you'll hold on to sell yourself out for a relationship that's no longer helping you to grow, to change, to heal, develop. If you want to start your journey today, go to escapetoxicity.com. You can start there with a 7-day challenge for $7 to start you moving forward. Just a start on your healing journey. If you want to talk to me one-on-one, you can go to rawmotivations.com. Would love to interact with you, would love to help you, and would love to help you understand the things that have been happening in your life that make you feel crazy, that make you feel trapped, and that there is hope, and there is freedom. You're not crazy, you're not alone, you're not hopeless. Reach out for help. Narcissists are masters at manipulating you in multiple ways, in multiple aspects. One of the pieces we're going to talk about today is manipulating your emotions. Did you know that he did this? Did you know that he actually works on manufacturing different emotions, constructing different emotions that you're going to have, that you're going to portray, and that he's going to put himself as the higher moral authority over you because of your lack of emotional control or emotional dysregulation, that you wonder what's wrong with you, when in reality, he's sitting behind the scenes being like, I made that and I caused that to happen. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to provide awareness of narcissistic abuse. I work with women who are trapped in toxic relationships to find freedom, being able to give them closure and clarity about what they're currently going through and how to break the trauma bond, how to eradicate the triggers, and to heal and move forward. If what I have resonates with you and you just connect with it, you're like, hey, I need to talk to this guy, go to rawmotivations.com. Would love to move forward in helping you heal and grow and develop you. Well, when we talk through narcissism, we're talking through a guy that is very manipulative. I was very manipulative years ago in how I showed up for my wife. There'd be different times where she would express her emotions. She'd express her feelings, and it would be quick to discount those. Be quick to find logic that would override the feelings and make her feel less than or make her feel stupid. Because if I could do that, then I would feel better about myself because I didn't want to deal with the emotions that were actually happening. So many narcissists are actually manipulating your emotions because they do not want to deal with your emotions. Have you had that happen before? Have you felt like your emotions are an inconvenience to the toxic guy in your life? If so, type in me into the chat because I'm just curious. If it feels like you've been an inconvenience, your emotions, your feelings have been inconvenience, type in me into the chat right now. When you're talking through this piece of narcissism, manipulation runs rampant. It is one of the 9 diagnostic traits that's going to happen inside of narcissistic personality disorder. And when this is going on, he's going to find different levers that he can pull to be able to manipulate you. One of those levers is the emotion side. Now, from the emotion side, you're going to show up 9 times out of 10 with way more emotion than what he's going to. He's going to control it a lot of times, and then he'll release it in the aspect of rage. It's not really a happy medium. It's not like I'm sort of pissed. It's like, no, I'm either okay or I'm pissed. Like there's not really an in-between with a narcissist. Yes, there is with some of them, but a majority of them oftentimes can go 0 to 100. And you've seen this inside of rageful moments. They're like, I don't even know where that came from. Because a lot of times what's happening is he's trying to be able to train and control you of how you need to act and how you need to show up. Many times you feel like an inconvenience because in his mind, you are. He doesn't want to deal with your emotions. He doesn't want to deal with your feelings. Why?
He doesn't want to deal with those because he hasn't actually dealt with them himself. So if you're experiencing a piece of not being good enough or feeling shame or feeling unworthy, that's going to trigger those pieces inside of him, which might make him get upset and yell at you to shut up, to just stop crying, to move on, to get over it, to the past is in the past. Let's just move on. We'll start over. We'll be better, because he doesn't want to feel those emotions. He's afraid to feel those emotions. If he feels those emotions, he's like, oh, then I'll never get out of it. Now, not saying any of that for you to feel sympathy for this guy, because he's still abusing you and you need to focus on you. Otherwise, you're going to stay for too long and you're just going to stay trauma bonded and you're going to stay triggered and you're not actually going to heal. So I'm not saying that. What I am saying is he's going to leverage you to be able to manipulate your emotions, pulling different levers. Now, there's this aspect inside of narcissistic abuse, which is called manufacturing emotions. Manufacturing, think of it just like he's building emotions inside of you. He's creating scenarios where you actually get to a place where you're experiencing jealousy when you shouldn't be jealous. But he's creating that opportunity for you to be jealous to trigger you. He's talking about an ex a certain way. He's bringing up past things. He's talking about who he's going to meet up with that's just a friend. But he's creating these moments for you to feel jealous. So then he can be like, whoa, like, I didn't want to marry someone that was jealous. Like, what is your problem? Then he's manufacturing these emotions and then putting you down, which puts him in a different role. Puts him in like a teacher role or a parent role. Because then you have different emotions or feelings and he's like, let's work on these because you need help with this. You need to figure this out. You need to go do X, Y, and Z. This is one of the pieces that I've struggled with, is holding emotions for my wife, because I struggle with holding my own emotions. I'm growing in it and I'm developing in it, but it is still a difficult process. So there's been times in our relationship that I have done a very, very poor job at holding emotions. So she tries to express herself emotionally and vulnerably. And I'm like, yeah, you should probably go talk to someone about that. Like, I think you need therapy. I'm like, maybe you should go talk to a counselor so that they can actually fix that, so they can figure this out. Because otherwise, I struggle to hold the emotion, so I don't want to hold it. I'm avoiding it. I'm like, I don't want to feel those things. So then I push her away. This whole aspect is what is happening inside of the relationship that you're in. He's manufacturing these emotions. He's manipulating your emotions to create a certain scenario, to create a certain outcome. Why? Part of it is he's avoiding his own emotions. Okay, so that's kind of number one. Number two is he's trying to train you. Yeah, that's what I said. He's trying to train you. The narcissist not only views you like an appliance, but oftentimes will view you like a dog. If he trains you a certain way, then you're going to keep coming back for more. So if the dog is in love with the owner and the owner still does things that are negative to the dog still will come back 9 times out of 10. Why? Because it sees this piece of like, oh, I love and I care for this person so much. That's what you've been doing. And he's been treating you like a dog. But he's also been training you. And inside this piece of training you, he's got different training treats that he's giving you. Inside the training treats, it all comes around what you do that is positive for him. You do something good for him, you get a training treat. You do something negative for him, you get beat. He's trying to train you emotionally of what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. This could easily be in the aspect of blowing up. You express something, boom, blows up. And you're like, whoa, okay, well, I guess it's not safe to be able to express anything. And basically, he's like, yeah, you're right. You're not safe to express anything because it's all about me. It's not about you. Forget you. So you're going to see where he actually starts to manipulate the emotions that are happening in your life to avoid his own emotions and to control and to train you. Training you to actually show up the way that he wants you to show up. This many times will show up in the aspect of him wanting you to dress or act or look a certain way. Sometimes that is very much on like the image, overt narcissist side. I need you to act or be or look a certain way because we're going to this event where we're going to meet these people. Like, you need to be this person in my life. An image, right? And he's trying to take his image, attach your image, and make yourselves look better for society. When in reality, and behind closed doors, everything is going to hell. And it's falling apart, and it's getting really, really negative because he's manipulating you and he's manipulating your emotions. Now, sometimes this manipulation of the emotions will be this circular reasoning and this back and forth. And this piece where he's purposely putting you into a state of confusion by running circles around you to a place where you're like, I don't even know what I'm thinking. I don't even understand. This is another form of just emotional manipulation where he's trying to confuse you, either from a logic standpoint or logic on top of the emotion just to confuse you and how you're showing up on a day-to-day basis. So the goal inside of what he's doing is he needs to be able to manipulate you to avoid his own emotions. He needs to be able to manipulate you to train you like a dog so you know what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. He needs to be able to actually work on this to manipulate you so that he feels secure and in control of the relationship. When you start to rise up in your power and your strength, when you start to rise up emotionally and you're like, hey, this is actually working, I'm actually showing up different, he's going to freak out. And the reason why he's going to freak out is because he starts seeing you, reclaiming power back into your life, reclaiming and rediscovering your own voice. And inside of that, he's like, what do I need to do to shut her down? Rage, one of the easiest ones. Boom, you cower, you get afraid, you get upset. Why? Because he had to do something to get you back under his control. He had to do something to get you back to retraining. You think you can speak to me like that? Get back down. You think you can do this? No way. You think this is how you are? Absolutely not. You're worthless. You're not good enough. And all these things you're going to say and use to trigger you, to beat you down mentally and emotionally. Now, oftentimes it's subtle. Inside the piece of it being subtle, you might have belittling comments or snide remarks. Small, tiny things that don't appear even abusive. They just appear like, oh, he's got a preference, or, oh, he doesn't appreciate this. But when you start adding them up over time, you start to notice, wait a second, he's actually shifting me. He's shifting my mindset. Like, consider your mindset is easily shifted no matter what. You're a human on this planet, you're easily shifted. You look at Instagram for 5 minutes and you're like, oh, now I need to jump on this. Now I need to do this. I watched Instagram and a couple of things popped up in my feed and I went down the rabbit hole of the carnivore diet. And I went down the rabbit hole of the carnivore diet and I was like, oh, this is what I should do. Right? Because it just took that amount of time to all of a sudden shift the mindset. And I'm like, well, they said it. It must be the most amazing thing ever. Right? Because this piece of your mind is going to shift very easily. If it is not grounded in truth, it is not grounded with clarity, you're going to get manipulated and pushed around emotionally so much because he's using different instances and circumstances to convince you that you're not good enough, to convince you that you're worthless. This is all a play and a ploy. If he makes you worthless, then you have no worth, you have no value, and you have to look to him to give you value. So he's trying to be able to put you down so he can look higher, so you can actually keep coming back to him for more supply and more treats as he's training you. The whole goal from a narcissist is to work on the piece of control. How does he actually control it, manipulate you? And when he's doing this, he's trying to make sure that you're falling under certain lines. You're falling under certain steps. You're making sure that you show up in the way that he wants you to show up because it is all about him. It has nothing to do with you. It is all about him. And he's going to continue to manipulate and coerce and shift things around so that you get confused to the point that you just bow down and serve him over and over and over. If you're in a toxic relationship and you see part of this, that you're getting emotionally manipulated, you're seeing how he's manufacturing emotions over and over and over, I want you to reach out for help. Go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough because I want you to help move forward inside the healing process to break the trauma bond, eradicate the triggers, find your power and your strength, and step back into who you're called to be.
You've been told it's all your fault and that makes you feel crazy. No one understands you and that leaves you in a place of being alone. You've tried to break free multiple times and that leaves you helpless because nothing you've done has actually worked. It hasn't actually got you free or liberated from this toxic relationship. So you feel crazy, alone, and hopeless. Guess what? That's a lie. Because all it is how you've been raised and conditioned inside of this abusive relationship over and over. And as a result, you've sacrificed your growth, you've sacrificed your worth, and you've been trapped inside of a toxic relationship. What if I showed you the path to freedom? A way for you to actually get free mentally and emotionally from the toxicity that's happening right here, right now. You deserve more. You deserve to be able to heal. And I want to help you with that. If I can help you with that, go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. Schedule a call there and let's talk.